Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Mind of Reese. I am so excited that you are here. Holy shit, what is going on in my world? There's so much right now. Tattoo apprenticeships going on. The applications are out. If you want to be, if you've ever wanted to be a tattooer, it is your time. Let's do it now. My tattoo immersion one-on-ones are out now, which is if you are a tattoo artist that wants to dive deeper into their tattoo techniques and they want to do that with me and you want to get into business, marketing, social media, energetics, intuition, ceremonializing your tattooing. Basically, it's an in-person day with me at my shop where we go over your tattoo techniques, your business. It's a VIP day. I take you out for lunch. We get to know each other. We literally just have a day together to really just dive deep into your business. And so if this is something that interests you, I recommend it. Go in the show notes if you want to learn a little bit more about how you can book a connection call with me. We can discuss what it is that you really want to go over in your business and your tattoo techniques. Also, inspired and aligned. Holy moly, it's only a couple weeks away. And so if you've been wanting to create the most aligned year of your life, basically 2023. And what's so great about this workshop is that not only is there like 6+ hours of no fluff, all inner workings of how we internally reprogram our mind, body, and vibration in order to alchemize that, put it into the visualization through manifestation, a lot of attraction, and then to take the inspired actions to know that we are going to reach our goal and how we can mentally get there and hold true to the goal and to the vision until we get there. This is that workshop for you. It is something that I absolutely love doing. I do it every year. And it's also like you get the recording for the entire year. You get it for a full year so that you can re-go over it, because if you're on this spiritual path, we're always constantly growing and changing and morphing, and our goals constantly shift, morph, and change. So I actually love going back to this workshop every time. I'm like, man, these goals no longer align with me. I have new goals in mind, and then I just do the process all over again. So I actually utilize this throughout the year. So it's not just a 1-year thing. I just like to start in December because it's so juicy to alchemize that energetics of the end of the year vibe when you're like, okay, it's the end of the year. I'm about to start my year strong, and this is how we're going to do it strong. This isn't this like, oh, I'm going to hope I'm going to do it. No. We are about to move all this energy within your body and alchemize it so that we can turn it into power that gives us the courage and the bravery to take the steps that we need to take that are into the unknown of where we want to go and quantum leap our business and our lives in less time than we would have if we would have done it any other way. So that's in the show notes as well. Coaching wise, just in general, just if you've ever wanted to plug in and play and be in my world, you want to be in the inspired vortex of in this, we have everything's at every price point, all the good stuff. Just click on the show notes. It'll take you to the coaching, and there's literally a whole library of things that you can go into to plug in and play, all the way from content creating to tattoo techniques to, content magnetism, to my signature course of Inspired Academy, which is my 10-week business course for tattooers, all of the things. So we got it all. It's all in there. You want to sign up for something, you want to purchase something now, you want to be on a wait list, go in there. But on today's episode, I am actually so excited to be introducing you to Samantha Lewis. She is my VIP client, and she's a tattooer, a ceremonial tattoo artist, a tattoo shop owner, basically a all-around boss babe. She's in the 6 figures and beyond area in the industry, and so she hired me so that we can go through life and business together, and we just kind of go about how her time was with me and all that good stuff. So I'm so excited to introduce you to her, and I'm so excited for this episode. All of her information's in the show notes, so you can go follow her, get a tattoo by her, learn from her. She's also become a mentor, which I love that. She has been a mentor for a very long time, but she started opening up online containers as well. And so this is really exciting because this is, I believe, where the industry is going, and I really want to help other tattooers who want to be amazing leaders and mentors not only up level their leadership and mentorship, but also to up level how they go about getting into the coaching industry as well. And so I'm so excited for you to meet her. So here is this episode. All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of Mind of Reese. Today I have my VIP client, Samantha, and I'm so excited for you guys to meet her. She's just a dream to work with, and a dreamy, inspiring human being, holistic healer, tattooer, shop owner, all of the above. She is a femme entrepreneur if you've ever known one. So I'm so happy to have her here. Samantha, woo, we're falling around. It always has to come with kinks like that.
Every time.
I would just love for you to introduce yourself. Where's your shops? What do you do? All the good stuff.
Hi, I'm Samantha, and I have 2 locations, one in Oregon, one in Hawaii. And I personally am a ceremonial tattooer, and I specialize in scientific, illustrative, vintagey feel for animals and plants. And I really love capturing people's animal guides and plant-based healing within those pieces. So sometimes ornamental, just whatever flows, and if it feels good. The ritualistic side of things. So that just kind of goes hand in hand with the history and tattooing, and I'm just honored to be bringing it back into the here and now.
I love that so much. Actually, it's one of those things where I think what's funny is that I've noticed in my own community that people are constantly, they'll ask about you if I post about you, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, ceremonial tattooing, like that sounds incredible. I want to get more into that and all this kind of stuff. So, what I know that during our time together that you have been offering this kind of stuff as well, like how to help people and teach people how to ritualize their own services. So tell us a little bit about that.
Oh gosh, that really blossomed a lot more when we began working together. So I knew that I wanted to do that. I just didn't really know like the strategy on how to get started. So when it all kind of came together was when we just in the like fast paced through all of it in the very beginning, like what is the mission, the ideal client. My ideal client really is just somebody who is like-minded in the way of like their healing just comes first in their life. And I know that that's not an easy journey, and it takes a village, and knowing that like sometimes when you feel really really alone, that you're not actually alone, that you've had so many people holding your hand whether you realize it or not, to like lifting you, elevating you to the next step. So that's my goal as somebody who is helping teach others how to ceremonial tattoo, or even just people who are looking to dive into their own intuition themselves. So you don't have to be a tattooer, but art is all around you. So whatever type of creative you are, whether that be in the kitchen or an artist on paper or on skin, it's just I believe that art is everywhere. So being able to ritualize it, it's like ritualizing your life. Ritualizing your life is just as important as eating or sleeping. And so bringing that full circle, I feel like really we were able to dive into what that looks like when you and I pulled all the pieces out and laid it out on the table. So I'm just forever thankful that we actually like found what that looks like together.
Yeah. Oh, I love you for that. Well, let's actually dive into that a little bit if we can. Is like what did your business look like? Gosh, has it hard? It's like 3 months. It feels like it's been it feels like a lot longer. It's
I
crazy
agree.
how like it feels like it went by fast, but it also felt like it's just like that it also was like a really like I know you really well from that 3 months. You know, it's like we kind of do life and business together, which I'm like so honored to you for you to choose me to do that with. And so, yeah, tell us what it looked like prior, and then what you were kind of looking for when you decided to enter into this container. And yeah, and then what was the aftermath?
My intention when I first started working with you was just growth in whatever capacity that needed to look like. So I went in with a really open mind, of just like, what do I need to hear, with the guidance of somebody who is an intentional tattooer and spiritually led. And it's like it propelled like more than I can even imagine. Like right whenever I said that like the yes and like made my first payment for the mentorship, it was like the universe handed me a big old platter of like one of the big things that I really needed to work on, which was acceptance and release. And sometimes in my own business, I know that control, like I have the idea of what I want business to look like, and I'm like, it can hurt when somebody steps outside of that boundary. And so releasing the ego of just letting people freely be who they need to be was so freeing. And that's what I learned a lot with even just the first few weeks of working with you, was just acceptance and love through some hard things. And um, wonderful advice that I can't like, even just that is worth thousands that I got with you, millions. So I'm just grateful.
Ooh, I love you're making me cry. What is happening right now? Like my hype man right now. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And it was like, not to get too in detail of it, but like, I remember during those first times, like those first like meetings that we had, they were really, you know, although with the intention of like business, there was a lot of like having to go into the inner work and getting that inner wealth up so we can manifest that inner wealth and turn it into like our outer wealth. And so it's like knowing that we're rich before we're wealthy kind of thing, kind of
Mhm.
like that idea. And so I think what people kind of don't understand, like some people that haven't had mentorship before, they don't understand that like it is really a lot of, there's a lot more to it than just business strategy. So like we did do a lot of like inner work, and just really just me being able to be a projector of what I see in you, where sometimes we might need
Mm.
that to see in each, like to see in ourselves. And so it's always nice to have that kind of accountability. But as far as like the strategics aspect of it, how did the container help you with that? I would just like to know too.
Oh gosh. I feel like the strategics of where, like before, do you mean like where I was before and where I was
Mhm.
afterwards? I would say that before I didn't have much wiggle room in the way
Mhm.
that that my ideal things were supposed to be. It was like strategic, things were in place for a reason because they work, right? And so stay within that lane and that will be successful. But what I've learned through you and the strategics of just living in the here and now rather than being too fast forward, being too much in the future is just like so much stress relief. So
Yeah.
much, it's so freeing, especially leading other people, leading other artists that work with me in my studios. It's like leading them to their own answers rather than um, being like, I would say too, mom like stepping out of that role and just being somebody who is like there side by side rather than like follow along. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that well, it makes sense
Yeah.
to me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's those things where you and I, we have similar language, and so the way that
Mm,
really it resonates with me. But I know that the people that are listening are here for a reason. They're spiritually led, and or spiritually curious at least. And this is kind of a space where we can open open up safety in that, and open
Mhm.
up that doing it together does mean we get there faster. We collapse time between where we want to be, where and where we want to go, like what our goals are when we do it together. And so I think that we have this idea around mentorship or asking for help and things like this is like a weakness or a negative
Mhm.
thing. It's kind of just the idea of allowing people to really see how helpful it can be when you open yourself up to it, when you're willing to literally co-create with the universe and say, you know what, I'm going to double down on myself, knowing that I've got my own back, knowing that I'm co-creating with this universe and with spirit, and just see where this takes me. And I think that this just allows people to really understand that, as you now, like as a mentor yourself now, which is like really beautiful. And so it's like you have your own mentoring as far as like your artists and things, but then now you're kind of having like, you have like a like some containers yourself, you know what I mean? You have like coaching
Mhm.
containers, online containers yourself, where I think that that's we're just like kind of heading into that side of life where community is everything, and doing it together is everything, and that you thrive, we all thrive kind of vibe. So
Oh gosh, yeah. The forever student mindset is so important. If you put yourself in that box of just like, I'm good, I know enough, then you'll be stuck in that same moment forever without growth and making the same mistakes over and over. So I believe that pushing yourself outside of that comfort zone and accepting guidance and wherever it needs to be is how you show up with learning those lessons that maybe like those triggers that keep showing up over and over again. You can finally face them with somebody um, who can help you see outside of like the triggers, right? So whenever you're experiencing um, grief, I suppose, grief of through whatever that looks like, and it shows up in so many ways. Having somebody like a mentor, this is what we're talking about when it's not just a business, but your business like is your personal growth, is yourself. And I know you've said that before, but it's so true because if you're working on yourself, then your business grows as well. So by having somebody hold that grief with you, the capacity to hold it gets stronger. And being able to dive into actually viewing that grief for what it is what helps dismantle it and integrate it into power, um, into somebody else's power too, somebody else that needs your roadmap, right? So it's just whenever you say that, like, um, the healing that you're doing doesn't just reflect on you, but it reflects on everybody you come in contact with and sends it out further and further and further because then that healing sends out to the next person as well that they come in contact with and so on, the ripple effect.
Oh, I love you. I love that so much. I love that you touched on the part where it's, healing is our business. Like our self inner work, our shadow work, our realignment, our just understanding who we are to get to know ourselves well enough to know where our patterns come from is in our business. Like our life is our business and vice versa. And so the way that we move through life is the way that we move through business. And so when we kind of find ourselves in a reactive state, we will react that way in business, where we see things
Hmm.
back and we see, oh my gosh, I'm not booked out for this long, or I'm not doing this, or I didn't sell enough of this. And it just becomes like this mindset. And you're realizing that that's your life mindset, not just your business mindset, and vice versa. And so with mentorship, I think that, as you said, like it's like if you're forever a student, you're opening up your mind to allowing someone else to give another perspective that you look up to, or someone that you really resonate with. It comes with that ideal where it's like, it's not just, again, like we were talking about, it's not just about all the strategies. Like definitely we went there, we're like, okay, this is how you can launch this is how you can do this, like with your
Hmm.
mentorship, we like did the X, Y, and Z, how we, if we were going to no longer have someone on our team, we knew how to do that, how to structurally do contracts, things like that. Like this is all semantics and strategy, and someone can hand you a full book of strategy, but it's really the work in the inner work, the person you are being as you are making these
Mm,
decisions is allowing you to hold more space so that you can hold growth in the three-dimensional world, like more artists, two shops, more artists at that other shop, like mentoring, having well, you had like you were mentoring someone from what, like Japan, like
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
like so gnarly. Like these things
We're
are just
still
like
in contact. It's so good, and the feedback and just receiving long distance intuitive development is beautiful, and integrating that into the studio here, we're doing weekly, it's even tonight, we're doing like a weekly kind of workshops within our studio where we're diving into like our personal mission statements, but more importantly, we're all doing guided ceremonies together, and really getting to the nitty gritty of like what am I holding on into my body, and how can I create sacred space within myself so I can create sacred space for everybody else who lays on my bed or sits in my chair. So we're doing some deep work in here right now, and I'm
that's
like
amazing.
mind
And I
blown.
love that you're like spreading that love to, it's not, it went from you
Mhm.
and like-minded people in your space, but now it's like you, and then you're like, no, 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 this is how this organ shop is going to, this is how we are going to now facilitate our healing and
Mhm.
our healing work and things like that. We're not a run-of-the-mill shop. We're not coming
That's
in
right.
here and people are, screamo music, which is fine for whoever it works for. But
Mhm.
there's no judgment. But I know that like your mission is to really hold true to the healing aspect of tattooing and how much that does help in your own experiences with ceremonial tattooing and ritualizing your tattooing. You've seen the shifts within your clients, and so to
Yeah.
see that, you're like, I know this is something that is calling to me, is working for me, and so let me share this with my artist. You're like,
Yeah.
let's pull send. So here you are, intentional tattooer, creating more intentional tattooers. Like, what
Mm.
is this ripple is happening? Like, who are you, woman? I fucking love you so much.
Oh, I just love you so much back. But certainly, like, I don't think I would have found this version of me without the elevation of like the endless love that you've shown me, and just like it, like you said, it wasn't just about the business advice. It was so much more than that.
Mm.
Yeah. That
I could go
deep,
on and
juicy
on.
work.
So
Yeah.
much, so much deep, juicy work. Oh my gosh, I love you so much. Well, we will keep this loving, sacred podcast to not a super long thing. I want people to just enjoy the energy that we both share and just know that it comes from such a genuine, heartfelt space. Like you're my sister.
Mm.
Always. And so I would just love for everybody to know where we can find you. You'll be able to find it in the show notes, everybody, but at the same time, you know how can people work with you? Like if there's a tattooer out there that's like, I want to do ceremonial tattooing, is that a thing? Can we do that with you? I know it is, but so I just want you to talk about it a little more.
Yeah, yeah. So how you would best work with me, of course, is social media is the at the Painted Witch, and I've just got a link on there that you can book a consult with, and there's a few different options. And the consults are complimentary, so it's 30 minutes, and we just kind of dive into like, are we a good fit working together? Here's a little glimpse of what working with me looks like, and so we kind of do a little guided meditation, just briefly to kind of ground the same space, and then I tell you what my offerings are and then any questions that may show up. And then there's an intuitive reading that you can just book without a consultation. And that is a guided ceremony. It usually lasts an hour, sometimes two. It really just depends. We do an energetic clearing. And so that can look like many things. And even though healing is not linear, it is like peeling back onion layers, but sometimes we peel through multiple onion layers at once, and it can be pretty personal. So, not I can't say that any ceremony looks the same as the other, so it's hard to describe, but certainly it shows up with whatever you're inviting in at the time. So, what is it that you want to work on? And that's kind of where we lead into.
Love it.
Yeah.
And if they want to come and get tattooed by you, same thing at the Painted Witch.
Yep,
And
at the Painted Witch.
so you can just find her there. You'll just see her beautiful face in that little photo of hers. Well, Samantha, I love you so much. Thank you so much for everything. And yeah,
I love
that's
you back so much. Thank you for everything.